Well, I don't think there's anything wrong with doing steroids to achieve that sort of physique for a movie either.
Yeah.
I do think there's something wrong with one.
And I am a fat bitch. I don't do steroids. And I take it as a compliment because there's no other excuse to me knocking out all of your...
So Jake Paul just got terminated after footage of him involved in new steroid use has taken the internet by storm. We've got bombshells dropped from boxing pros and pundits. These guys are not playing around. They've exposed Jake in the biggest scandal of his career. And he's out here acting like he hasn't even seen the juice before. Seriously, Jake. Who are you fooling? Let's be real. It's obvious the dude's into some real shady stuff. And if that wasn't enough, leaked footage and voice memos have surfaced, practically proving it. The leaks show Jake's camp in full panic mode, trying to cover up what could be the most damaging evidence yet. I mean, come on. With the biggest fight of his career on the line, facing the baddest man on the planet, of course, Jake's reaching for those reinforcements. He's got to stay on top if he wants to hang with legends. The fight world knows it, the fans know it, and deep down, Jake knows it too. All right, let's get real. This isn't the first time Jake Paul has been accused of juicing up. It's like deja vu at this point. The allegations have been around for a while now, and when you look at his sudden transformation from internet prankster and YouTube sensation to KO artist in the ring, it all starts to add up. Sure, Jake's been training hard, no doubt, but let's face the facts. This kind of transformation doesn't just happen overnight unless you're getting a little help from some questionable sources, right? Oh, and let's not forget about UFC President Dana White. He's been firing shots at Jake for ages about this. Dana's been very vocal, publicly accusing Jake of taking steroids before. He didn't hold back, calling out Jake's rapid transformation and basically saying, "There's no way this is natural." Dana even challenged Jake to take a steroid test if he wanted to prove he was clean, but Jake never took him up on it. Suspicious much? Dana's got a sixth sense for this kind of thing, and he's not letting Jake slide on it. He knows shady business when he sees it. I believe that you're a cheater, and I believe that you use steroids. So I want to randomly steroid test you for the next 2 years.
I believe that you're a cheater, and I believe that you use steroids. So I want to randomly steroid test you for the next 2 years.
Now, to understand the nitty-gritty of this whole steroid fiasco, we need to rewind a bit. Remember when Jake started his boxing journey? Nobody took him seriously at first. He was just another YouTuber trying to stay relevant, right? But then, out of nowhere, Jake went from messing around with cameras and doing viral pranks to knocking dudes out left and right. Like, when did that happen? 1 minute he's making vlogs, and the next he's calling out pro fighters and influencers ready to step into the ring? People were already skeptical back then, but now, it's hard to ignore what's right in front of us.
No way!
Look at the dude's physical transformation. It's insane, to say the least. Jake went from being your average YouTube bro to looking like a freaking heavyweight. He's jacked, and I'm not talking about getting in shape the normal way. I'm talking about a crazy level of muscle that makes you question how he got there so fast. Let's be honest, nobody builds that much muscle, that quickly, without some serious assistance. The kind of bulk he's put on in such a short time screams PEDs, and that's what's been raising eyebrows for a while now. You don't go from being a guy who is known more for beefing with YouTubers and rappers to a guy who's got the physique of a professional fighter without putting in years of work. But Jake? He did it in just a few months. He's not only put on muscle, but his endurance has skyrocketed, and his rage-fueled performances have taken center stage. And now, just ahead of his biggest fight yet, against none other than Mike Tyson, new evidence is piling up, and it's all pointing fingers at Jake being on the juice once again. The fight is scheduled for November 15th, 2024, and just when things couldn't get more intense, leaked footage and messages have surfaced. Boxing insiders and fans have been dissecting the evidence, and things aren't looking good for the problem child. The timing of this scandal is sketchy too, just before his fight with one of the most dangerous fighters in history. It's like Jake knows he needs every possible edge to survive against the baddest man on the planet, and it's becoming more obvious that he's willing to take shortcuts to make it happen. Now, Mike Tyson's a guy who knows this sport inside and out. I mean, he's been around the block enough times to see right through the problem child's facade, and he's made it clear. The steroids are only making Jake fat. Hear me out, Jake's got a whole ton of muscle on him, but you can't deny that he's been looking a little chunky lately. Maybe he went overboard on the juice? Take a look for yourself.
I moved up to the heavyweight division, Tyson Fury been real quiet. Tyson Fury, where the fuck you at, pussy? Boom!
I don't know if he's in his prime. He's fat. He should be lean and mean. He's fat and funky. I saw him with his shirt off the other day. He's fat. I thought, did you start training already?
Buster Douglas was fat, am I right?
I know, but you're no Buster Douglas. He's not gonna win. Look at, he can't even knock out Nick Diaz. Nick Diaz is 40 pounds. How's he gonna knock me out? What's the other guy? Anderson Silva. He didn't get knocked those little guys. How he gonna knock me out? Who did he knock out? Who did he knock out? Little children. He didn't knock out, never knocked out a real man. Come on. I can't even get mad at this guy because everybody know this guy's talking out of his ass. And stealing money. I'm up here just stealing money fighting him. Well, just come to the fight and you'll see. Listen, I started Jake off and I'm gonna finish him.
Jake's behavior lately has been raising all kinds of red flags. We're talking about sudden outbursts of anger, mood swings, and the kind of aggressiveness that's commonly associated with steroid use. And don't get me wrong, but Jake's body transformation alone is a massive sign. This kind of muscle gain, especially at Jake's age and stage in his career, isn't something you see without going down a dirty path. And it doesn't stop there. Let's talk about Jake's press conference with Mike Tyson in New York City on August 18th. If you tuned in, you'd have seen it. Jake was visibly pissed off throughout the event. It wasn't just the typical trash talk you expect at these things. Jake straight up lost it.
History, this is what it's all about for me, man. I'm a kid from Ohio. New York, shut the and boo yourself. Boo yourself, New York. Hey, New York, you're just like Mike Tyson. You were good 20 years ago. New York.
He was cursing out the crowd, getting in the faces of the press, and even went off on New York itself. Like, dude, what's the deal? You're in one of the biggest cities in the world, and you decide to curse out the entire state? That kind of behavior screams steroid use. We've all heard about roid rage before, right? Well, Jake was giving us the classic signs of it during that presser. Don't even get me started on his mood swings. He went from calm and collected to exploding in just a few minutes. At one point, someone in the crowd booed him, and Jake's reaction was way over the top. Instead of brushing it off like any normal fighter would, Jake completely snapped, throwing out insults left and right. And the physical signs were there too. His face looked puffed up, his neck thicker than ever, and his body shredded in a way that just didn't seem natural. These are all major red flags when it comes to PEDs. People are now questioning if Jake's anger and frustration are really just about the pressure of the Tyson fight, or if it's something else bubbling under the surface. When you're on the juice, your emotions are all over the place. And that's exactly what we're seeing with Jake. Whether it's during training, in interviews, or at the press conference, he's showing all the classic signs of someone who's juiced up. Unpredictable, angry, and just out of control. Now let's be honest for a second. Jake Paul isn't the first fighter to get caught up in a steroid scandal. Just look at some of the biggest names in combat sports who got juiced up, and it ended terribly for them. The fight world is coming down hard on Jake Paul after these steroid accusations. People in the industry are finally speaking out, and it's not looking good for Jake. One of the loudest voices? Tyron Woodley.
Jake. So when we did the face-to-face, I asked him directly to his face if the man was he on PEDs. And his answer to me was no. So there will be testing. There's stuff in the contract about testing.
Woodley's always been suspicious of Jake, accusing him of juicing since their first fight. And now he's out here telling fans, "I told you so." He's been vocal on social media, reminding everyone that he's called Jake out before for being too jacked, too fast. It's not just Woodley either. Other fighters and pundits are starting to chime in. The hashtag #JakeJuicedPaul has been trending all over Twitter. Everyone's waiting to see what kind of consequences are coming his way. Will there be suspensions? Fines? Could Jake even face a potential ban from the sport? The pressure is mounting, and Jake's career could be on the line. The fight world isn't taking these accusations lightly, and with more people coming forward with their own claims, Jake is facing termination in more ways than one. Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see how everything plays out. So there you have it, Fight World. That's all I have for you today. What are your thoughts on Jake Paul getting terminated after new steroid usage? Make sure to fill the comment section with your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more boxing news. See you in the next video.